You're with the Break-a-Leggers.
And you're joining us here in London's West End. Yes, we're back in London.
I know, thank God, with full houses as well.
What?
That's insane, isn't it? Like, how far we've come. Make the most of it before we're back in lockdown in September.
And what are we here to see, Lega Simon?
Well, the stars are out tonight, darling, and they're because we're here at Constellations.
So stick around to hear all of our thoughts.
Find out how many stars,
And whether it's break a leg
or leg it.
Yes, fellow Leggers, we are back on the Strand at the Vaudeville Theatre to see Constellations.
It's a busy place. I mean, even coming, hello.
Hey, Mum.
Wait.
Up the whatever.
Up the what?
I don't know.
We're on the Strand here.
What did you say?
I would say even coming from the hotel to here, it feels like London is back. Not only is theatre
It's busy.
back,
It's getting busy.
It's busy.
Which is a bit of a mix for theatre goers, because
Yeah.
I know a lot of you are still worried about going out to theatre.
Mhm.
And I say take your own precautions
Yeah.
into your own hands.
Make
Always
your
wear a
own
mask.
decisions.
Always
Yeah.
sanitize. Just be aware not all people are. Not
Yes.
all people have to track and trace. So take your own safety into your own hands
Yes.
within that.
You
I
can
think.
only ultimately you are the one thing in life you can control, and actually that sort of brings us neatly onto what the concept of Constellations
all
is
about?
So it's like a multiverse piece about two people that meet at a social event that end up getting into a relationship with one another, and how their relationship plays out from start to end, but not only how it plays out in that reality, but every possible decision they could have made along their relationship and how that changes their future.
Okay, sounds interesting. And I hear this has come back because it was at the Donmar.
It was at the Donmar a few years ago now, and as a sort of concept, I was sort of. It was nominated for awards. I was very sad to miss it because it sounds interesting. It sounds different is what it sounds. And I never anticipated it coming back. But not only has it come back, it's come back with a vengeance.
Okay.
Because the first time round, there was one cast, cisgendered male, cisgendered female, as it's written. This time round, it's doing a limited run overall, but 4 limited runs within the limited runs with 4 different couplings.
Okay.
You've got people like Zoe Wanamaker and Peter Capaldi, Anna Maxwell Martin and Chris O'Dowd. You've also got Sheila Atim, who we last saw in...
No, we didn't see her in the Gulf. We saw her in the Gulf of North Country. The last time we saw her was at the Globe in Othello with Mark Rylance.
It absolutely was.
Absolutely.
And also with Ivanno Jeremiah.
Wow.
And now tonight we are seeing this piece almost restaged, redirected and slightly rewritten for a gay couple.
Oh, wow.
Played by Russell Tovey, who Angels in America.
That's the last time we saw him on stage.
Was it the Pride? What's the one with the football? The film.
Oh, I know the two-hander.
Yeah.
What is that called?
It is called. What's it called? The Pass.
The Pass.
The Pass, because that's football.
Yeah,
They pass each other. I get it now. I get it. I'm not big on football. And I mean, he was in the History Boys original cast as well.
He was
with James Corden.
Very talented on stage and on TV. He's done all sorts.
And also Omari Douglas.
Oh wow.
Who, I mean, compared to Russell, feels like a relative newcomer, but we last saw him on TV in It's a Sin.
Oh, wow.
Which was stunning, utterly stunning. I'm so glad that he's here. He was in Five Guys Named Mo at the Marble Arch Theatre, which we saw. And he was also in Wise Children at the Old Vic, which I went to see with our lovely guest legger, Sean Nolan.
Okay.
And you saw the pro shot?
Yes, I did.
Yes.
A great production.
I mean, and
Emma Rice. Come
Emma
on.
Rice, great director.
Got it.
The thing is with Omari in Wise Children, the range of the guy, singing, dancing, acting, he's got it all. But what makes him a true star in this constellation is he's from Wolverhampton, Bab. He's from Wolverhampton.
Okay,
like
so
me.
sounds interesting.
Yes, Michael Longhurst directing.
Oh wow,
artistic director at the Donmar.
Yeah, brilliant.
And I just can't wait because I've read the play. Well, I started reading the play text. I bought it based on the concept alone, and to see a gay love story unfold on stage.
75 minutes straight through,
75
no interval?
straight through, perfect love.
So no interval breakdown.
I'd say you'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll be in the bar by 10, but you won't because it's an 8:30 up tonight.
Wow.
8:30.
Okay, it's a
That's
nice
my
starting
bedtime,
time.
innit?
Okay,
Yeah, stick around. There's no interval, so we'll see you at the end. Find out all of our thoughts and
find out how many stars.
stars. So we've come to the end of Constellations, and I mean, what was shaping up to be a great piece with a great cast and a great director, what I really want to know is, did the stars align for you tonight?
So you did
Did you see
there.
what I did there?
So you did there.
I'm wasted. The punnage.
I wait for it every time now. It's kind of
but-
a leg, what we wait for.
Do you wait for it as in like a groan, oh, I was waiting for that joke? Or do you wait for it because you're just so excited to see what my creative genius comes up with?
Totally a groan. No, it's about your creative genius. Of course it is. I'm always keen to know. Anyway, what did you think come the end?
Jan, what did I think in the end? I had high hopes for this piece. Now, to have a concept such as it is, exploring the multiverse and the choices that we make and relationships that we have one another and how they can sort of spin on a dime and the choices that we ultimately end up with, how they pan out and ultimately how do they end our story, is a fantastic concept. One so much so that when I read about this piece, because obviously I didn't see it the first time round, I bought the play script because I was like, that is an interesting concept. But I have to say, for me, the concept tonight was more interesting than actually what happened. And I do have to say, I never read the play script all the way through, even though I bought it. So maybe the fact it hadn't sparked my interest like a star shooting through the sky at the point that I got the play script, that should have warned me. But I know my expectations are always high, and you managed to keep yours lower. This is why I've often said, I'm with you because you meet my expectations, and it's a good job yours are low.
So what are you saying about the piece? So
it was okay.
It was okay. Right, from your point of view, it was okay.
Yes.
Gotcha. For me, I thought it was really good. I think this is up there in terms of the A-class of theatre. A-class of theatre in terms of the writing. I think it's dynamic writing. It's short as well,
Could you
so
say,
it
would you mind
drives
say
through.
It's gold star?
Yes, it's gold star. I thought the staging, the directing was great and creative. Playing, the director gave the writing and the director saw the playing that could be done from the actors. So as such, the actors had so much to work with. I was engaged and I just loved what they were doing. This is playing at its best. Coupled with brilliant lighting and music that were just there. It's like looking at the play, it's like, how can you add lighting and music to this? But they did in a really dynamic way.
Dynamic,
which just
yet
amplifies
subtle.
and so, absolutely.
Which is
this is
strange...
what theatre should be. This is the theatre I love. So I thought this was brilliant, right up there, and I was engaged. I was hooked on every word. And something about this. I guess we're tapping into a bit of giving away what happens here, but...
Spoiler alert, turn off now if you're coming.
Spoiler alerts, because they are reenacting the same segments, more or less, sometimes, or changes, they really get to play with it. We really get to, and it becomes funny. There's a lot of playing with threes, like the rule of threes. Setting something up first time, then a second time, then by the third time there's a little twist which makes it really funny. So there's some real humour to the piece, which also I thought the actors worked really well with. They were listening to each other, they understood each other, they did enough where they're listening to the audience as well, so they knew when to stop, but it was all grounded as well. So I thought it was a great piece. I really liked it.
I thought what was interesting is what it said about, for me, what I felt very much, because we're in a theatrical space, is how much of our day-to-day life is nothing more than a stage. Because when you're rehearsing a piece and you're in the hands of a director, you make choices and you pick one of them that you ultimately, you've got one script and you've got one scene, you make a choice and that's what you play, that is what you settle on. In this, it feels like they never need to make a choice. You get to try all of them out, but then you get to bring that to the stage. It's almost like a rehearsal period for a play, but on stage.
Yeah,
and
you get
that's
to try it
the
out.
script. It's
very, I think that's
very
why
meta.
This must be great as a performer to come and do, because you get to play. Oh my goodness, how many? Like that's what you want to do as a performer.
But
you
not only do you get to play,
and
but you also get to keep. Like you get to play and you get to settle on what you've played with in every eventuality. And which you're right, I think they were maybe having a better time than I was, for example.
But this is that you may feel as if they had a better time than you were. I was having a good time with them and I enjoyed them not just, I often say this, sometimes in the play we just get A, B and C of a character. I felt as if we had the full range, and the play
an actor's
enabled
ability.
yes, and the play enabled them to have a full range. Beyond that as well, I think the actual message of the piece is a thinking piece that I really liked. The idea of, thinking about it, you've got to take every moment as it comes, because you never know what's going to be taken away. We are in control of what happens. We are in control of
we?
I think so. And that's the kind of thing I like about this piece, is it gets you thinking. It gets you thinking, this is the hand we've been dealt. And we're pretty privileged, and we're pretty lucky to be dealt the hand we are. So we've got to make the most of it. So I think that's kind of, in terms of the overarching ideas of the piece, I like that in a piece.
But I have to ask the question: is it original? Because that multiverse options of going down different lines. I think about Family Guy. I think about Back to the Future, about going into the past and changing the course of your own history. It's not an original idea for me. And I like plays with a huge amount of originality. And I just feel like this is a little bit tried and tested now, maybe.
No problem for me.
Interesting.
The ideas are still there. It's not. I'm sure there's no DeLorean, and there's no fire, and there's no dock. That doesn't mean that the idea doesn't open up the kind of further concepts or further ideas that weren't explored in Back to the Future or Family Guy, for example. And with this as well, because you've got the diverse casting, and we saw two males. I'd love to see it with some of the other couplings to see how that dynamic brings out. And I think then, as a piece, it just shows the writing again that it's so flexible and diverse in terms of its ideas, and I love that.
What's interesting as a director, I mean, Michael Longhurst is a genius anyway, but what's interesting for a director getting to work with 4 different casts is ultimately, the way that it's played, you could end up with 8 different options for every single scene. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not so sure that the choices that they'd have made in a specific part of this play will be exactly the same as another duo in the same part of the play.
Which may be what we see in another run of another coupling.
We could end up with almost, I want to say,
16 different versions,
thousands of different choices. Do you know what I mean? Like multiplying upon multiplying. And that is almost, I'm grieving the fact that we were only booked to see this coupling.
Only got to see the guys.
I would want to see this again because I know my thoughts will be different.
Yeah, I'd love to see it again.
You could see the same piece locked down to the same direction as much as you wanted, but with this piece, I feel like you could have 1,000 different options.
Let's talk about the cast then.
Let's talk about the cast.
We spoke about the cast. Now, Russell Tovey.
Let's talk about him. I could talk about Russell Tovey for quite some time. I've been very inspired by that guy, especially when he's had his top off.
He's been around for a while. He's been in lots of stuff.
History Boys.
Yeah.
He's done a lot of TV work.
Absolutely.
Gavin and Stacey.
And I've always thought he's okay.
Yeah.
To be fair, I've always thought he's okay. Good for him. This evening, I thought he was great. I was like, okay, I see where you're at, Tovey. I see where your skill is. He was playing with it. He was pushing it to the extremes. He was funny. He was dramatic. He was serious. He was grounded at the same time. So I have utmost respect for him as a performer. I get him now. I thought he was really good.
I've always liked him. I've always found him the British Neil Patrick Harris is what I would call him. I would say that he is ultimately himself, that he's a gay male actor who has said, I'm not a gay man, I'm an actor. So, therefore, do not stereotype me, do not typecast
Sticks to his
me.
integrity.
I can play every role. And in this, he's playing someone in a homosexual relationship. But he's an actor, ultimately. We saw him in Angels in America, where he was gay, but acting as a straight man, living a lie, not his personal truth. But do you know what? Convincing in everything I've ever seen in him, no matter if he's playing man, woman, beast, gay, straight, bi, he is always convincing for me and always has a real grounded truthfulness. I adored him in this. I thought he was brilliant.
And I think that's the thing about this piece. You say Angels in America, I thought he was good as okay. I think the good thing about this is I saw him playing a scene and then a scene totally different and a scene totally different. So I saw the diversity in the range in his...
He has the range, darling. He has the range.
That's then what made me go, okay, he isn't just a one-trick pony. He got skills.
He has got skills.
He got technique.
And
he deserves his space on this West End stage and more.
What Russell has is experience. He's got a credit list as long as his arm, which is actually fairly in opposition to Omari Douglas, who, as is a relative newcomer than if we compare him to Tovey. Yes, Omari's done some great things. I last saw him in...
Omari, I thought was fantastic. Again, I thought he was brilliant. Again,
Yes.
the opportunity to play was there. He was, I thought, kind of coming someone, Russell Tovey is the known name. Omari, I was like, I don't know.
Wise
this person.
Children.
Wise Children, that's the piece. Summarizes Wise
And
Children.
he was great in that. And what was great in that about him is that it showed... You talk about showing a range. Omari in that piece was singing, dancing.
He's got talent. He's got skills.
He was gender fluid. Like he's got. I mean, his legs, man. I just want to lick them.
Amazing. He's fit, man.
He's fit.
The playing and the coupling
Yeah.
and the pairing and the dynamics and the listening
Yeah.
and the truth of the piece and the grounding, all of it was there.
And
Omari
his
was brilliant.
character, I mean, we talk about, you know,
Yeah.
he played somebody very gender fluid in Wise Children. He played, you know, an openly gay man in It's a Sin as well. I would like now to see him take a path that Tovey's taken into choosing roles that aren't the person that he is. You know, I want to, because I know he has the ability.
Well, let's
but I've
hope,
only seen him in gay roles so far, or queer roles, I should say.
Well, in this age where we saw the Doctor at the Almeida and they kind of messed around with race and their gender and age, in an age where we're seeing Hamlet being played by Sir Ian McKellen, and now we're seeing Constellations where there's just characters being played by different people. Let's hope we're entering into an age where it's about the character.
Open it up.
It's open performance.
it
Let's
is.
hope we're coming to, because it gives so much to play with, so much possibility, so much creativity and imagination, and that is what theatre is about.
And do you know what the best thing about Omari Douglas is?
What's that?
It's from Wolverhampton.
Oh, well, there we go.
Anyway, Nick Longhurst, let's talk about the direction and the lighting
Fantastic.
very briefly
Loved
and
it.
those creative elements.
Yes, brilliant. Beautifully woven, imaginative, like I say, to be able to see where it fits, where it isn't there, it works really well because they're jumping and they're chopping very quickly.
I mean, you have to put your brain on, but luckily enough, 75 minutes straight through, you can stay zoned in. It's a thinking piece. It's interesting to see it with this gay coupling because it wasn't originally written that way and it wasn't originally staged that way. And you know what? Thank fuck for 2021 where we can push things forward. And
2021.
That's what this piece is doing. Right.
Anyway, you're probably wondering how many stars we're going to give Constellations. Currently playing here
At the Vaudeville.
in London's West End.
Limited run only. Pick your cast now. We are going to give
4 stars. No,
4
it's slightly
stars.
different on this. For me, this is a 5-star piece.
For you, this is as good as it
5-star
gets.
production, 5-star performances, 5-star direction,
Yeah.
lighting, staging, etc. So this is the best. How for you?
Yeah, for me it was good. Now, but because I know it's a piece that's come back after many years, which means there must be a thirst for it. The audience that didn't see it first time round want to see it now. But the fact that the concept alone was enough to make me purchase the play script, to then finally thinking, wow, I've got the opportunity to see it. I'm really sorry, but my expectations were astronomical. They were up there with the stars, and it just didn't quite match up for me.
Okay, whereas I don't have any expectations. I just take the piece as the piece, and I thought it was great.
I should
So
try.
it's interesting to see the differences.
I'll try less. with you
Anyway,
then.
that's totally just what I think.
And that's just what I think. What do you think? That's
Let
what
us
we
know.
want to know. Have you
Comment
seen?
below.
Have you seen this coupling? Have you seen any of the other Anna Maxwell Martin, Zoe Wanamaker,
Yes, what were the other
Peter
pairings like?
Capaldi? All of those people.
Whatever
Let
it is,
us know.
let us
Sheila
know.
Atim.
Sheila Atim as well. They've got some great pairings
Great
going on.
parents. Have you seen them?
Anyway, this is what we do. We review theatre. If you like what we do, please hit the like button. We're seeing a load of productions as theatre is coming back post-COVID.
Yes, thank God.
Check out our past catalogue as well of all the shows we've seen, some
Yeah.
of which are hitting the West End, such as Back to the Future, which is just
Just
there. But anyway,
With
hopefully we'll
Lakers.
see you next time. Catch you again soon.
Bye.